So in our project, we take the roofs. Our idea is about creating a series of emergency structures on rooftops of dense urban centers that aim to restore lost connections to the city during a lockdown. And the idea came to us while being stuck in quarantine and seeing how the limitations of the street network completely paralyzes the city. And we as architects tend to focus too much on how streets organize our cities, connect people, create communities, and nourish economies. But we have to try to explore new alternatives at the site of crisis.
So, based on this street failure, the first question that we try to address is what other conditions might cause a lockdown as such. So, for example, are we going to leave something similar in the near future? The first thing that popped into our mind was a climate crisis that might push us out of the streets, or even a political crisis that will cause the same.
So following that, the question was, which is this alternative field that can emerge and restore balance in the city during this kind of emergency? And seeing the appropriation of roofs and balconies and gardens and doorways during the pandemic, we started to think about the rooftops as a possible common field that can emerge. But what kind of structures do we imagine there? We didn't want to imagine a permanent and rigid infrastructure like a modernist utopia. So we turned towards looking into emergency architecture, crisis architecture, the case of shelters and temporary structures.
And art installations that might be flexible, low cost, lightweighted, and can be easily assembled on rooftops. So in our case, in our project, we had two case studies, one in Athens and one in New York City. In Athens, the design is about an emergency leisure network fit for physical distancing and the pandemic scenario that will restore nighttime economies during the lockdown in the city. While in the scenario of the New York City, we took the leap, created a projective scenario in a future flooded Manhattan due to a climate crisis, where the residents use hydroponics and to grow vegetables and fruits on the roofs, and at the same time restore food distribution chains with pop-up restaurants, and with the use of technology have homeschooling activities.
So through both scenarios in our project, we tried to show that architecture can do a lot for our health beyond the role of the architect in building formal healthcare infrastructure and emergency infrastructure. We have to create spaces that really cultivate collective living through crisis and
mental well-being.
And the mental well-being of the citizens of cities. So the role that we should have during this kind of public health emergency is to really observe the city and see how people appropriate space, often in paradoxical ways, so that we draw inspiration and turn this emergency scenario into a projective scenario for the challenging times ahead for our urban centers.
True.
Thank you.
Thank you.